Hello, everyone, and welcome to WDBJ 7 Plus. I'm Michaela Shelton. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Happy Friday. We have made it to the weekend, and it's just looking beautiful out there for lots of events. We have a lot going on around our hometowns this weekend and, throughout the day. But we're first going to get into our top local headlines. And, of course, later in the show, we'll dive into your First Alert hometown weather forecast. And then even later, we're going to have a couple interviews for you. One is on the Lynchburg Wine and Music Festival that's happening on Saturday, and also a fundraising gala for a historic school out in Galax. So definitely want to stick around for those. But first, the man charged with setting Danville City Council member Lee Vogler on fire last year has pleaded guilty. It comes weeks after Shotzi Buckhays initially pleaded not guilty. Now, Buckhays walked into court yesterday in full shackles, pleading guilty to attempted first-degree murder and aggravated malicious wounding. A third charge, breaking and entering with the intent to commit murder while using a deadly weapon, was dropped. The court went through key evidence, including video of Vogler running through the street after being set on fire. In recorded interviews, Buckhays said he believed Vogler had been sleeping with his wife and felt that it affected his future of having children with her. They are now divorced. Buckhays is set to be sentenced June 25th at 9 a.m., where his attorney says more details will come out. And video of a child being abused by her trusted babysitter are still sending shudders through our hometowns. The videos show 18-month-old Hazley Booth being physically and emotionally abused by her caregiver, 19-year-old Carly Webb. And last month, Webb was sentenced to 1 year in jail, a sentence that's prompting talks about changing state laws. Melissa Gayona has been following the story from the beginning and now has an update about how the family is working to get stricter child abuse laws.
Just 3 weeks ago, Carly Webb walked out of the Bedford County courtroom as a felon. And not just a felon, but an abuser who was sentenced to a year for what these home videos captured. The victim at the time was 18-month-old Hazley Booth, who was now 4 years old. By the sound of her giggles, you might miss the cries that came from inside her own home. Hours of video footage as her babysitter and close family friend Carly Webb abused her, throwing her food and drink away, taunting and hitting her with a toy gun, screaming vulgar names in her face, and putting her in a tiny brown box. The sentencing landing her 365 days in jail, but 2 weeks later, she's appealing her felony conviction. The victim's parents still in disbelief with the entire process.
An appeal, almost at this point, felt more, it didn't feel like something that was going through the legal process, right? An appeal felt like, I'm appealing what I did to your daughter.
Delegate Sam Rasul watched our story and heard from the Booth family.
Let's play this, Delegate Russell, and get your reaction.
Now it's about other children. I'll make sure the rest of my life that Hazley's safe from this person. But what about the other children who may not know about that? That's a reason that felony's got to stick.
What do you plan to do about that, Delegate Russell?
I think we need to be doing everything that we can possible to ensure that it sticks. And the appeals process shows that there's a mountain of evidence that here's someone continuously and systematically abused this 1.5-year-old child. I can only imagine what the Booth family went through.
The Virginia General Assembly handles a high volume of legislation with over 2,000 bills proposed every year. The Booth family's goal is that by January of next year, a bill is ready to be presented in honor of their daughter Hazley.
Are you the guy?
I've committed to drafting legislation for them and digging down into this.
Delegate Rasul says he is talking with the Booth family to draft legislation.
I'm working with the Booth family to see how could we tighten this up. They have a powerful story now that can protect all kinds of other children because they can utilize the thousands of people that they've befriended along the way and try to channel that energy into something positive. What we're doing is first kind of taking some of their ideas, but then having our attorneys explore, given the fact pattern, what more could be done.
For Hazley, the abuse is over, but the mental scars could last forever. Hazley's case is not over. And across Virginia, there are many other children suffering because they do not have a voice. Hazley's parents are pushing lawmakers to change laws to put more teeth in sentences and make sure no other child's voice is silenced.
Yeah, great reporting by Melissa there, and we'll definitely continue to keep you updated on that case. And as the use of AI increases, people are starting to use it more and more for mental and physical health advice instead of going to the doctor. WDBJ7's Amir Massenberg has that story and more in today's Hometown Health.
Here are your hometown health headlines. Air pollution is linked to increased cases of migraines. A study in Israel found that on days with the highest number of hospital visits due to migraines, air pollution levels were higher than normal. The study's authors say migraine sufferers could benefit from staying indoors and using air filters on days when pollution levels are high. Heat and humidity were also linked to increased migraine cases. Plus, 1 in 4 Americans use AI for physical and mental health care advice. A West Health Gallup Center survey found the biggest reason people said they used AI for medical advice is because they wanted answers quickly. Roughly 60% of people said they used AI before and after seeing a doctor. But in many cases, people said they went to AI instead of going to a doctor at all. Recent studies have shown as much as half of the health information provided by AI is inaccurate or incomplete. Also, people who are feeling lonely have a higher risk of developing a degenerative heart valve disease. A study in China found that loneliness could increase the risk of valvular heart disease by 19%. The study's authors say it could be because loneliness is linked to other unhealthy behaviors, including smoking, excessive alcohol abuse, and lack of sleep or physical activity. For your hometown health, I'm Amir Massenberg.
And the Bedford County School Board has voted to keep one school open for another year. Tanisha Jackson has that story and the response from families.
Applause from the community filled the Bedford County Public Schools meeting after the board voted to pause the closure of Stewartsville Elementary School until the end of the 2026-27 school year.
I'm happy that they chose to actually listen to us this time and open up the option of keeping it open a year.
The board voted to take the year to conduct a division-wide redistricting study aimed at looking at all of its schools in the district to determine where to place Stewartsville students once the school closes.
These decisions that are made, that yes, they are monetary decisions, but we're trying to do everything we can to protect the kids and to protect the staff and the teachers, everybody involved. So
the board originally planned to place Stewartsville students at Goodview Elementary, causing concerns of overcrowding and impacting the quality of education. But a redistricting study has Goodview parents hopeful that more time will alleviate those issues.
We want those new friends to feel like they get the resources, attention, and space that they need and deserve so that all of our kids, those who are already placed at Goodview and those who will be coming from elsewhere, get access to the same high-quality education as everywhere else in Bedford County.
Joy Powers filed a lawsuit in March challenging the Stewartsville closure process. Powers said the decision denied families the chance to participate in that decision-making process. Powers says the redistricting study was the only legal option the board had in response to the lawsuit.
The problem is they already implemented closure-related activities based on the invalid vote, and so there's still some legal questions now that we're still going to have to go to court and figure out there as well.
Parents say they will continue to fight for transparency, town hall meetings, and involvement in the redistricting process. In Bedford, Tanisha Jackson, WDBJ7.
And that was a look at some of your top local headlines on this Friday. But don't go anywhere. We are going to be right back after this with a look at your First Alert hometown weather forecast and the upcoming weekend and what you can expect from that. Stay with us. Welcome back to WDBJ 7 Plus. We are joined now by our chief meteorologist, Justin Pavic. Justin, how are you feeling? I know you're planning to be in this big marathon tomorrow. So, you ready for that?
I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I trained for about 2 months and tapered off here this week. Of course, you don't want to run a lot, and just the days leading up to the actual race. I'm a little nervous, though. I haven't really run in the heat.
It's gonna be
different.
One.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be hot there, especially getting past that, say, 10, 11 o'clock hour for some of the full marathoners out there. And of course, this race, as we know, is not just hilly, it's mountainous, so there's a lot of elevation change. We were actually doing some digging. Meteorologist Ava Herrera came up with some great graphics tied into the hottest marathon. Now, keep in mind, the inaugural race was back in 2010, so we're only working off about 15 years of data here. Of course, this would be the 16th year, but this would by far be the hottest marathon day. And I say day because it's not going to be 90 degrees here from the get-go. We're going to start things off much cooler, of course. But look at that. Second place back in 2015 was 80 degrees. And then most of the races here, and it's April, are typically into the 60s and 70s. I know last year it was 52 degrees at the start of the race, and it was raining. So we're looking at 62 to start. But notice where we go from 7:30 to the noontime hour. Now by noon, many racers will have wrapped up, but it's a big jump there, all the way up to 20 degrees, and there'll be a little breeze out there to hopefully offset some of that heat. Thankfully, the humidity here will be on the lower side. Of course, that adds a lot of stress to runners' bodies there, as it kind of robs them, of course, of their cooling mechanisms with all the heat and the humidity at play. Temperatures here, at least on this Friday, not quite as high as were at this point yesterday. You can see some of the views out and about in your hometown. Blend of sun and clouds, so we had some cloudy skies this morning. I was driving to work, noticed a lot of cloud coverage. We're starting to see some breaks now, so temperatures are playing a little bit of catch-up. I think we will get back into the 80s here shortly, but at least as of the 11 o'clock hour, we're still down a little bit. Mid-70s around Roanoke and upper 70s there toward the south side. Hot Springs a little cooler at 62. So with it being a little cooler today, we are going to go with that hometown home run forecast. Of course, we've talked about the heat much of the week. Today's probably the more comfortable day with some sunshine. So we're gonna stick with that there as we work our way throughout the evening and overnight. Comfortable conditions continuing, 55 to 60. Again, was talking all about the race for tomorrow. Starting things off in the low 60s, but ending up into the 80s here by the noontime hour. Then 90 in Roanoke for the afternoon, 91 Danville. Even our mountain communities will be climbing up into the 80s. So again, we'll be on record watch here. And keep in mind, this will be the second day in the last week, the second day in the month of April that we've seen 90 degrees, and that's very rare territory, and this would only be the 6th time we'd actually seen that happen there. The last time we had multiple 90-degree days in 1985, we had 4. Don't think we'll see that here this month, but still to be in that same league there is definitely a pretty rare. Also, some great festivals going on for tomorrow out at Green Hill Park. The Blue Ridge Kite Festival. Good day to fly a kite. Just make sure you're staying hydrated. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s to right around that 90-degree mark. And then here we go backwards on Sunday. Cold front sweeps through, cooling as we go from the midnight hour. If you're up at that time, it's still warm, but it's not the case around noon. Look at that, 57 degrees. So again, going backwards here as we go throughout the weekend. Next week looks very nice, but again, it's very, very dry, and we talked about this a lot in depth yesterday. The drought is now severe over much of our area, and the rain that we see Sunday and Thursday is definitely not going to do it. I think it's light, and I think it's under 1/10 of an inch. We actually need multiple inches of rain, and that's not in the cards here over the next 7 days. Hopefully next week, we can start, or I should say the week after. Wow, we're way out in time now. We can start to see a bit of a pattern flop or pattern change, but we're definitely digging ourselves into a pretty deep hole here, Michaela.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad to see a little bit of rain, but don't you wish those 2 temperatures were switched there on Saturday and Sunday.
I was thinking about that. Yeah. I
mean, just missed it.
I just missed it, right? I love running in the 50s. The 60s are great as well. And you get in the 70s and the 80s, it's a whole different animal. So.
Yeah, but that's really going to show who the real beast is out there, when it comes to having the energy and stamina to keep going through that heat. So it'll be a real challenge, but I know you'll get through it just fine.
All right. Hopefully I'll be back here with us on Monday to talk about it.
Right, yeah. Hopefully you make it.
I might be hobbling in.
Yeah, you might have somebody fill in for you, but no, it'll be great. All right. Thank you so much, Justin. And don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we are going to talk about a very historic school out in Galax and a gala fundraiser that's coming up on Saturday. And then after that, we're going to take a look at the Lynchburg Wine and Music Festival. So you don't want to miss that. Stay with us. Welcome back to WDBJ 7 Plus. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm joined now by Sylvia Richardson. She is the president of Rosenwald Revamp, to talk to us a little bit about a fundraising gala that they have coming up on Saturday. Sylvia, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we know, this fundraiser is for the Rosenwald-Felts school. So for those who don't know, just kind of give us a little background, about that school and exactly what it is.
It's a neighborhood school that was built specifically for the African American children in the city of Galax. And the 100-year anniversary will be coming up this year. It was opened in 1926, and It's been used for several things over the years. It stayed open all the time until integration came about. And all the children that were born in the city limits went to that school uh, until they had to go someplace else because they weren't allowed to go to any schools. And Booker T. Washington and Julian Rosenwald came to the area, and they decided that the black children needed to get an education. So they decided to um, start schools all over the country, and fortunately, we were one of those schools.
Right, I gotcha. And so, talk about this fundraiser that y'all are having on Saturday from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. out in Galax. You know, where is that going to be, and what can people expect from that?
Okay, this will be. We are now a nonprofit and licensed through Virginia, and it's also a historical landmark on the registry. Rosenwald School is, and we have been tirelessly working since November 2022 to bring it back to the community, and this will be our debut celebration fundraiser. We'll be having it at Galax Municipal Golf Course Country Club, and it's a black tie affair, and we're having sit down meal, DJ, and just plan to celebrate the accomplishment because we've worked tirelessly for the last almost 3 years because we didn't have access to the building until now for a long time, even though it's in our community. And the building is very important to all of the residents of this area because that was home to us for many years. Every black child that was born here during that time went to that school, and then they went away, were bused out to high schools and schools in other areas to graduate. And I think then Galax used it as a kindergarten center for a few years. The school board did, and then most recently it had been used by another organization who wanted to purchase it, but we got together and decided that we needed to try and keep the building in our own neighborhood, and we've been raising funds, and this will be our first major event, and it's for us to fundraise because we will be taking the building over August 1 of this year. It'll be back into the community for use. And so this is sort of it's a fundraiser celebration for us.
Right, yes, absolutely. And so do you know what it's going to be used for, you know, once it's back and in the community August 1st?
Yes, we have a 5-year plan, but basically what we're planning to do is use a section for a museum, and then we plan on having room for computer labs and tutoring, and then we'll be having a meeting room, and we plan on having any activities that the youth in the community or around the city can use. It's our main force is education. We want to have classes. We want to also have health screenings. Just anything that would better the citizens of the community.
Right, absolutely. And so did you actually attend that school?
I did. My entire family attended that school. I have I have 5 brothers and sisters, and every one of them went to that school, elementary school. Some of the kids that were older than us had to be bused to Scott Memorial in Whitfield or Christiansburg Institute in Christiansburg. The kids had to get up. They were bused out from like 6 in the morning. They left home at 6 in the morning or before, and they didn't get back until later than 6 in the afternoon. And so, but every child that was born over here started school there and went several years.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. I know this means so much to you then and your family and everyone. And so, if someone does want to come to the event, are there tickets that need to be purchased, or is this a free event? How does that work?
This is a fundraiser for. Unfortunately, there are no free. um, Tickets are $50 each, and that includes the meal and all the festivities. The photographers, everybody will be there, and then of course we'll have a DJ. We'll be dancing, and we also will be having a cash bar, and we are setting up for all of that, and we don't really plan on having ticket sales at the door because we of course have a catered meal. However, we have allowed for a few people that might possibly have most people have already bought their tickets either from one of the board members or on the website. We have a website that's up that they can go to and donate or buy tickets or see any of the activities that we have going on.
All right. Yeah. And I will put a picture of that website up right now. Sylvia, thank you so much for joining us. I really hope that this event goes great. I'm wishing y'all the best. And we'll definitely have to follow up, once this school gets back up on its feet and once it's active and back in the community to talk about it again.
Yes, absolutely. I'm always happy to talk about Rosenwald Revamped. It's very close to my heart.
Yes.
Very close to my heart.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for joining us to talk more about it. And for those watching, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more WDBJ 7 Plus after this. Welcome back to WDBJ 7 Plus. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm joined now by Kim Cheatham. She is the owner of Omni Productions, which is over the Lynchburg Wine and Music Festival that is happening on Saturday. Kim, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, the Lynchburg Wine and Music Festival is always such a fun time. I've been a couple times before, and it is awesome. But for those who don't know or have never been or have been before, what can people expect for this year's Lynchburg Wine and Music Festival?
So this is our 15th year, which is hard to believe. So with this year, we have over 16 wineries, cideries, and distilleries that will be on site, offering samples throughout the day. We have over 70 artisans, crafters, and area businesses, including food trucks. It's just going to be something for everybody at the festival, whether you're there to do the samplings or if you're there for the music. It's just going to be something for everyone throughout the day.
Right. Yes, it definitely is. You know, you've got, like you said, food, music, drinks, everything that you can imagine. And so this is on Saturday, and this is an all-day thing, right?
It is. So the gates open at 12 noon and it goes until 7. I've gotten a lot of questions about what time do we need to be there in order to get a spot under the shade trees, because part of the area has shade and then part of it doesn't. So what I'm telling everybody is to be there by 11 o'clock in line, ready to come in order to grab one of those spots underneath the shade trees, because it's going to be a hot day.
Yes, that is for sure. I think
Yeah.
In the 90s last time I checked.
Yeah, I
So
think the last I
definitely,
saw was like 91, 92, something like that.
yeah, for sure want to stay hydrated and, bring, well, would you be able to bring an umbrella or should people just
Yeah, you can
stick to
bring
the shade?
umbrellas, chairs, blankets.
Okay.
We just don't allow tents because we don't have the room for everybody that wants to bring a tent. And we've been kind of on social media telling everybody, giving them like tips and tricks for Saturday since it's going to be hot. And our biggest thing is stay hydrated. And yes, beer and wine are liquids, but water is going to be your best friend. So we're like, for every glass of wine or every glass of beer, have a bottle of water on hand.
Right. Yes, definitely good advice there. And also talk about, the benefits and importance of bringing together, local businesses with the local community.
Yeah, so with this event, we feature a lot of local artisans and crafters and businesses, and it gives them a way to get their name out in front of all of the people that are going to be there. Our presenting sponsor this year is T-Fiber, which is a branch off of T-Mobile, which we're excited to have them. We also have Pack Law Group and Quickie Food Stores, and just lots of area businesses that support this event year after year.
Right. And yeah, talk about, some of the local wineries and, some of those that people will see at this event.
Right. So we have DeVault Vineyards and Rebec and Lazy Days, which are staples for this show. We have the Home Place Winery. We have 4 distilleries that are going to be there. We have Cobbler Mountain Cider. We have the Cider Lab, which is out of Spotsylvania County. We have Front 4 Wine Cellars. So basically, we've got wineries and cideries and distilleries coming in from all over Virginia, which is great because it gives local people here an option to sample, different wines that are offered throughout the state.
Yeah, no, I will say anytime I've been, it's always cool to see all the ones that you don't even realize, oh, that's not even that far away, or I had no idea that that was located there. So it's great to bring a spotlight to that too.
Right. And then, of course, we can't forget the bands. We've got fabulous music that's going to take place all day long. Atlas Moon, which is a local Lynchburg band, they'll be kicking off the show at 12:15, and they'll play until 2. Then at 2:30, we have Tinfo, which is another local country, kind of a country rock band that is going to be taking the stage. And then at 5 o'clock, the crowd's favorite, the Dundees, are coming back. So they will take the stage at 5 o'clock, and they'll close us out at 7.
Yes. Awesome.
So it's going to be a fun day full of, drinks and food and shopping and live music. It's just going to be a fun day where everybody can come together. The thing about this festival is it's the first large festival to kick off the spring season. So, everybody's coming out of those winter blues, and, we're very fortunate that we're going to have a nice, sunny, warm day. But it's just going to be a fun time for everybody to get together.
Yeah, it's going to be perfect. I just know it's going to be just so much fun. And so if people are interested and, want to get tickets, can they get them in advance? And if so, where can they go to do that?
Yeah, so they can get tickets in advance up until 5 o'clock tomorrow. The cutoff is 5 p.m.
Okay.
They can get them online, which they can either go through our social media pages or our website. It's through Eventbrite, so they can get them online, or they can get them at any local quickie food store here in town. And I think there are 12 different quickie food stores, and that's while tickets last. They have been going pretty fast the past couple of days, but we will also have tickets at the gate. So advance tickets are $25. At the gate, they're $30. And if you just want to come have fun and not drink, it's $15.
Right. Okay, gotcha. And is this an adult only event, or can kids come, or how does that work?
You know, we have people of all ages. Kids are welcome. 12 and under are free. We've had them as young as 5 months old be there, and then we've had them as old. We've had a 98-year-old lady that came to the festival 2 years ago, which was awesome. So you know, when people ask, what is the age range for this festival? You know, you got the newborns up to 98, so anywhere in between.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Yes, it's something for everybody. Awesome.
It
Cool.
is.
Thank you. Well, Kim, was there anything else that you wanted to add at all?
I don't think so. I think we've covered everything. Just, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be nice and warm. Come out, stay hydrated, and wear your sunscreen, because we don't want you leaving there looking like a lobster, because, you know, it's going to be hot.
Right. Yes. Well, there you go, y'all. Make sure to check that out this Saturday. And that's from 11 until 7, right?
Yeah, 12 to 7. Yeah,
12 to 7. Yes. Just make sure to get there early to get your shake.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kim. We really appreciate you joining us to talk a little bit more about that. And for those watching, don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more WDBJ 7 Plus right after this quick break. Thank you so much for staying with us here on WDBJ 7 Plus. We hope you enjoyed today's show. And as always, if you happen to miss it, it will be over on the WDBJ 7 Plus platform, which is on our website under the WDBJ 7 Plus tab, and also on your smart TV if you have a Roku, Fire TV, any streaming device like that on our app. You can go and rewatch the episodes there. We also have our 2 o'clock weather show coming up where they take a deeper dive into the First Alert Hometown weather forecast and some other interesting weather-related topics. And we also, of course, have our 12 o'clock noon show coming up here in just a few minutes. And later, this is a show you definitely don't want to miss. Coming up at 4, we have a live show out on the road. Logan Sherrill, Melissa Gayona, and Ava Herrera are all going to be doing 7 at 4 downtown. And let's actually take a live look out there right now. This is looking gorgeous right now. And they're out there for the Blue Ridge Marathon that's taking place on Saturday. It is one of the hardest, most toughest races in the country, so definitely want to check that out. It's going to be pretty hot, but I know we've got some people here. Justin Pavik's going to be in it. I think Austin Hicks is going to make a run out there, so wishing them the best of luck. But yeah, definitely tune in at 4 o'clock on WDBJ 7 and here on our streaming platform as well, just to check out that live show. But for now, thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see y'all back here. I'm actually out all week next week. I'm going on vacation for my birthday to Florida, but Sophia Borelli is going to be here filling in for me, so I'm really appreciative of that. But I'll be back with y'all the following week. But yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.